Dillon Brooks has become one of the most talked about basketball players in the league. Most of the NBA community seems to be on the same page, but between the insults and name-calling, there are a few players who like Brooks' antics in games. NBA's community reaction. One of the most entertaining sagas in the NBA has been Dillon Brooks versus the entire Golden State Warriors organization. We wouldn't be surprised to hear that Brooks even beefed with the Warriors ball boy. But for now, his main target has been Draymond Green. Now, if you know anything about Draymond, you would know he is the wrong guy to talk trash to. When Brooks essentially called Draymond a nobody if he wasn't on the Warriors, Draymond responded by saying the following.
You ever wondered why the Memphis Grizzlies is not ready to compete for a championship? Look no further than this idiot right here. They're actually depending on this guy to help them win a championship. And he says his game is cool. Quite frankly, that just shows how little you know about basketball.
Now, that almost made us feel bad for Brooks. Almost. However, Brooks got the last laugh, as not only did he help beat the Warriors the next time the two faced off, but said that he was better than Draymond in the post-game press conference. But what makes this kind of weird is that fans dug up an old video where Brooks said he idolized Draymond and wants to be like him when he enters the league. Talk about idols becoming rivals. But Brooks also took shots at the mild-mannered Klay Thompson. But Klay doesn't take trash talking lightly, so if you rile him up, you better be prepared for a taunt back. And that's exactly what Brooks got after the Warriors beat the Grizzlies. This is what Klay had to say.
I think you showed Dillon Brooks what you think about all that, but what message did you want to send tonight?
Man, they was talking about dynasty and all that. You can't talk dynasty when you haven't won before. I don't think people realize how hard that is, the commitment and sacrifice it takes. I mean, you gotta sacrifice your body. And I thought that was premature talk, to even mention that word.
Now, of course, Klay was referring to the fact that Brooks called his young Memphis team a dynasty, which rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. As Klay mentioned, you can't call yourself a dynasty if you haven't even won one ring. Brooks also got under the skin of the Warriors coach, Steve Kerr, when Brooks ended up fracturing Gary Payton II's elbow after a blatantly bad foul during the playoffs. This is what Coach Kerr had to say about the incident.
Ultimately fracturing Gary's elbow. This is a guy who's been toiling the last 6 years trying to make it in this league. Finally found a home, just playing his butt off this year. In the playoffs, this should be the time of his life. And the guy comes in and whacks him across the head in midair. He broke the code. Dillon Brooks broke the code.
Now, breaking the code is a pretty serious accusation, but it kind of fits the bill when you consider Brooks' overall reputation in the league. Not only did he injure a cameraman by blatantly pushing him during a Miami Heat game, but he was also suspended one game for striking Donovan Mitchell under the belt. After the game, Mitchell had a lot to say about Brooks, including a couple of pretty memorable lines. Just take a listen to this.
Did you feel that Dillon cheap shot at you?
Yeah, for sure. That's just who he is. We've seen it a bunch in this league with him. Him and I have had our personal battles for years. Quite frankly, I've been busting his ass for years. Playoffs, regular season. In the one game he does a high job on me today. He decides to do something like that, and there's no place in that in the game. And you got to protect yourself at the end of the day. But this has been brewing for years.
Ouch. So, it is clear that a ton of players are not a fan of Dillon Brooks' antics and the way that he carries himself on the court. However, Kevin Durant provides a different perspective on Brooks and actually credits his WWE-like persona.
Playing with a young team, being, having so much responsibility as a young player, being able to guard some of the best players. So you got to have some type of, I don't want to call it crazy for lack of a better term, but you got to muster up something for you to do that every single night, to be asked to be guard the best players every night, and also, be an integral part of the offense. So, yeah, he sometimes he takes it too far, but it's just a part of the role he has to play for his team.
One of KD's old teammates, however, didn't agree with his sentiment. When Westbrook matched up with Dillon Brooks, he didn't have any kind words to say about him. Just take a listen to this in-game interaction between Westbrook and Dillon Brooks, where Westbrook calls him trash to his face.
And Westbrook is...
Now, sometimes it seems like Brooks' antics backfire on him pretty badly. That Westbrook clip is a prime example, as Westbrook went off and had the best game of his season that day. But another example was when Brooks was trying to get under Jamal Murray's skin, but ended up eating his words after Murray dropped 22 points, but credited Brooks for some good old-fashioned competition.
A number of your shots in the second half were in a matchup with Dillon Brooks, and I saw you just give him some love right now. How would you describe the healthy competition between you and your fellow Canadian?
It's healthy. That's my guy. I was laughing. We were laughing in the game because I said we've been doing this since high school. So it's a lot of fun. It's good chatter. Yeah, nothing malicious there.
Now, one of the reasons why Brooks acts the way that he does is because it helps him get his name out there. Former NBA player Brandon Jennings didn't even know who Brooks was until he started beefing with Draymond and the Warriors. Take a look at this.
0 to 100, what are the chances that Dillon Brooks gets the last laugh on Draymond?
0.
Can we pull them together in just a 1?
He needs 4 rings.
Dillon can't even get a chuckle out of this shit. He can't even.
You need 4 rings before he even says, oh, okay, all right. I didn't even know who Dillon Brooks was until he started, like, seriously.
Real?
Yeah, I mean, it's job.
And honestly, one of the most impressive things that Dillon Brooks has ever done is to get Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless to agree about something, and both of them agree that Brooks talks a lot bigger game than he can actually back up. This is what Stephen A. had to say about him.
Dillon Brooks, I'm actually a fan. He's not having the greatest season. He's slipped shooting percentage, 3-point shooting percentage, points per game. He has a defensive prowess. He hasn't been what we grew accustomed to seeing Dillon Brooks be. Fair enough. I'm certainly not going to do what Draymond Green did and call him an idiot. But I will say his words were incredibly idiotic.
Now, while Skip took it a bit further and said Brooks is all bark and no bite in a recent clip, just take a listen for yourself.
Truth is, he's all bark with very little bite.
He didn't have the game to back
Yeah,
it up.
and when we talk about smoke and mirrors, he has no smoke really. He's all mirrors. He's a terrible shooter.
So, all in all, it seems like Brooks' antics and trash talking have made him public enemy number 1, both on and off the court. But it hasn't changed Brooks one iota as he continues to get under players' skin and keeps his name relative in the NBA circle. Now, if you enjoyed this video, then please give it a like and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Hit the little bell beside it so that you're notified the next time we upload a new video. That being said, you just watched us break down what the NBA community thinks of Dillon Brooks. We'll see you next time.